We're in the game now.
So, second map, it's aerowalk, and of course it is av3k that's leading here 1-0. And av3k actually got the spawn, which, well, I'm not sure how happy he's going to be with that one, to be honest, because if you look over at Calipt, he picked up the mega health and the red armor, which makes a big difference, especially after he lands 2 rails in a row. Calipt going to be in a real bit of trouble.
And av3k has got the tools to just dominate this map for the next minute.
And we said av3k needs to be careful here with his railgun, and well, he started out absolutely brilliantly with it. And of course, the spawn here will be a bit horrible for Calipt as well. Now, that's the thing about aerowalk, you know, with the teleporter system, the fact that that center map has so many tiers, you can move very, very quickly around it, around the tiers, and cut your opponents off using the teleporters, using rocket jumps. Really great, fast-paced action.
But pay attention, av3k has got the entire map. Calipt pretty much has nothing to his name, and av3k has got the times on all possible items. It's the fate of Calipt is right now in av3k's hands.
And there goes another frag for av3k, and he's going to collect this red armor from that platform. Mega health is actually on its spawn point, or at least was, until Calipt came in there and grabbed it. And as you can see on the left, in terms of armors, this map has 1 red, 1 yellow, plus the mega, but also 2 green armors, which give you 25. So they can be valuable. They can, you know, between 2 players on a level playing field, can make the difference between winning and losing. And as you can see there, av3k trying to tee up his shots on the spawn, and there's 2 more rails in a row. And if we look, av3k currently hitting 50% of his shots with the railgun. That little rocket jump wasn't exactly what he'd intended, but actually, you know, working out quite nicely for him in the end.
Yeah, but as you can see, Calipt seems to be adopting, or he's forced to adopt the same style he played on ZTN, except this map is smaller. This map has teleporters, which connect the map very much, make it a very, very tiny map. Wow. And again, av3k can be in Calipt's face all the time, applying all sorts of pressure, and his rail is really, really on this map. So Calipt is in a world of trouble right now, and I don't know, unless he hits crazy shots, he's not going to get out of it very easily.
Well, he's hit a good rail there onto av3k, who now is actually in a position, or was in a position, where he could have died from the shot.
Very nice read by av3k, just to give up on the red armor and pick up the mega, but forcing Calipt away from the red armor instead. Very good reads of Calipt, actually. He's making very good choices in game, based on where Calipt is and what av3k thinks Calipt will do.
Right now he knows that he's trapped somewhere around that teleporter. We'll actually look for the shot there as he jumps through. Not quite connecting for him, but he's still fairly healthy. This red armor is about to come into play. Don't think that Calipt will actually come around and make the challenge for it. He won't. And again, av3k will collect the mega health. Good defensive rockets from the German, though, as he still keeps himself on the run. And you know, despite the fact that we said that you can move around the map very quickly, you can cut your opponents off. We saw, again, as Cypher demonstrator at QuakeCon, the fact that you can be out of control and you can stay alive. And here comes a big push from Calipt with the LG, and that may have set him in motion for somewhat of a comeback. Here comes av3k, though, very, very aggressive. Will actually bring Calipt all the way down to just 8 HP after that one, but not quite enough to keep himself alive for the fight. And that was a very strong rocket. Definitely av3k in trouble. There's the mega health on the spawn. av3k gets in there, makes the frag as well, and he reinstates his 5-point lead. It's now 7-2 with 6 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, I think definitely Calipt is playing this map too passively, either by choice or he's got a little bit too much respect for av3k. But basically av3k is running around, taking all the shots, taking all the positions that he wants, leaving Calipt with very little to work with. So even though av3k is basically, you know, on the attack, taking damage, but still not enough for Calipt to break av3k's control. And in the long run, these little tiny differences are going to keep piling up, and av3k will just, I think, will run away with the score.
Well, there you saw him going in straight in aggressive with the LG blazing, and now he's going to go for the kill off the spawn as well. Good little defensive grenades, great rail from av3k. And possibly if he'd not switched away from the rail, he could have even made that a frag there at the end, but he's quite content. Back away, pick up the armors, you know, let things settle down, make sure he doesn't, you know, overextend himself for those frags. He's got to keep himself safe, otherwise, you know, Calipt off the spawn might get a lucky one, might get in on a rocket launcher or a railgun, and then things could change around. But currently, it's an 8-frag lead for av3k, and we've just gone past the halfway point.
Yep, and I have to say, you're right, you're completely right. av3k shouldn't do anything crazy right now. All he needs to do is just keep control and do nothing that would be labeled as stupid. That's all he needs to do right now in order to win this game.
And actually, av3k was expecting that push through, but when Calipt finally came through, it almost looked like he was made to jump a little bit. But, you know, Calipt has brought the frags back again, and as long as he keeps it fairly clear, and he's able to then get somewhat of a stranglehold, if you like, on the map and on the armors, then maybe you can come back in this one. But when av3k is actually hitting rails like that, close range, long range, I mean, 41% is a great percentage here for the railgun. Especially
on aerowalk, when you do a lot of flick shots, a lot of very weird angle shots. Oh, and Calipt blowing himself up now.
Not sure his reasoning or why exactly that happened at that point, but you know, sometimes it can be better to die if you're very low.
Actually, yes, because it can give you a spawn next to an item. So sometimes players do that tactically, but I don't think that was a tactical move by Calipt right now. And one rail would have finished av3k, but I really think that av3k is really safe here.
Yeah, he's certainly looking like it. We've got 3.5 minutes to go. It's 14-2, and av3k doesn't look like he's going to relinquish that stranglehold on the items that he's been running so nicely. Of course, Calipt has had a few opportunities to get himself back in the map, but so far it's been pretty good for av3k. There goes a nice rail back from Calipt, but the key thing is when av3k dies, Calipt doesn't survive with much to work with after it, and that means that, okay, Calipt might get 1 or 2 kills, but in the end, av3k's just going to put on so much pressure that he comes back in, and it certainly looks to me like, you know, Calipt, not just on this map, on Blood Run as well, gave av3k just a little bit too much respect. Of course, you've got to respect your opponents, and otherwise that means that you're not going to understand fully where their strengths and weaknesses lie, but if you give them too much respect and fear them maybe a little bit, then they're going to walk all over you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the story I was talking about. Fatality, the legend, the franchise, the guy that produces his own hardware. And av3k at the age of 15 gave him absolutely no respect, and it wasn't even a big deal for him to beat Fatality. He's just like, okay, just another noob I'm going to own, and, you know, that's how Calipt should think about those players.
And again, Calipt beaten to the red armor. His LG wasn't quite hitting the percentage it should have been to win that fight. And chases down, av3k runs away and slams a couple of rockets in his face. There's good LG again from av3k. As Calipt will actually rocket jump away from things. And as we hit the 2-minute point, it's still an 11 frag advantage for av3k. Red armor about to come up, and the rocket jump was actually a fail from Calipt there before he you know, got railed anyway. He just had the angle completely wrong. But either way, av3k, if we look down the percentages, I mean, 31% LG from Calipt, not bad, but we saw in that last situation that it wasn't quite hitting at the crucial times. Just under a 40% rail as well, which is decent. But you look over to av3k, and, you know, fairly similar percentages, the rail a little bit stronger, but the positioning, the confidence of av3k has just been on a different level. He's attacked when Calipt, and when Calipt has tried maybe to run away or just hasn't expected it.
Yep. But I have to, I think we owe some credit to Calipt as well, because I believe he's a fairly new player. av3k has been on the circuit. He's been playing Hub before in pro gaming tournaments. Calipt doesn't see, I don't think he has the experience of playing for a very high stakes on this map. So possibly, I mean, we've seen the tiny difference between the two players on ZTN. av3k shows that he's got lots of experience on Hub, and credit to Calipt as well for putting up a fight, and definitely he may actually go home regretting the ZTN game, because he could have won it.
Yeah, I think, like, you know, maybe with 5.5 minutes to go, sitting back then was maybe not the greatest time. A couple more frags and maybe a minute later, then yeah, maybe that would have worked out for him, but in the end, not quite worth it. And right now you can see 22-3, av3k really running away with this one. And it's pretty much the end of the road, in terms of this game at least for Calipt. Of course, this is just the first game of the Intelligent Masters Global Challenge. So
come back to the ESL TV website. You'll find the link to the stream by glhf.tv. The rest of Quake Live will be there. And after the post-game interview with Dennis, we will have the StarCraft 2 action.
Yeah, StarCraft
and if you want to
2.
keep following Quake Live, please go to GLH